We are looking at section 1.1 notes continued. Where we left off in class, I asked you to try example 3 on your own. So if you did not get a chance to try that on your own, I'm going to ask that you would please pause this video and take a look at those 3 A, B, and C examples and try to figure out what they look like on your own, and then go ahead and play the video and be able to check what your answers are. So part A, we have 4 more than twice a number n. So when we look through our statement, our words, we want to identify what do those words mean. We have more than. More than tells us that we are going to use addition. Twice tells us that we are going to multiply something by 2. So let's see what we have. 4 more than, or 4 added with, twice a number n. Twice a number n, that means n is going to be multiplied by 2, which means we'd have 2n that we add with 4. So we could have 4 plus 2n, or if we'd rather say 2n plus 4, because those more than, less than, they kind of flip-flop the order of that statement. Whichever looks a little bit better to you is fine. Part B, we have 7 less than the quotient of 8 and a number n. So we have 7 less than tells us that we are doing what operation? We are using a subtraction. We also know that means we have to flip-flop. We need to take 7 away from something. That means we're going to have some sort of minus 7. So something is going to subtract 7. That something is the quotient of 8 and a number n. Well, quotient tells us that we are using division. The and tells us where to put that division. That means I have an 8 divided by n, or an 8 over top of n. So 7 has to be subtracted from 8 over n. So 8 over n subtract 7. Let's take a look at C. C says the product of 9 and the sum of a number n and 2. The product tells us that we are using multiplication. We're going to multiply 9 with 9 and, so that multiplication goes where the and is. 9 is going to multiply with the sum. The sum means we are finding the addition of a number n and 2. So that plus sign is going to go where that word and is. So we have an n plus 2. Well, I have to take 9 and multiply it by the sum of. I can't just write 9n and then a plus 2. I need to show that this is the answer to the addition problem. That means I'm going to need to put some parentheses around that n plus 2 to show that I'm taking 9 and multiplying it with the n plus 2. So see how you did. Example 4 tells us using words for an expression. What word phrase can you use to represent the algebraic expression 4x? So if we go backwards, what's going on with the 4 and the x? Well, there's not a sign written in between there, which means that we are using multiplication. So we could write out something like 4, give a word for multiplication, 4 times x. We could say the product of 4 and x. We could say 4 multiplied by x. Any of those would work. And the last example, example 5. Writing a rule to describe a pattern. Says the table shows the cost of renting a scooter depends on how long the scooter is rented. What is a rule for the total cost? Give the rule in words and as an algebraic expression. So if I look at my table, if I rent it for 1 hour, I'm paying $17.50. If I rent it for 2 hours, I'm paying $25. If I rent it for 3 hours, I'm paying $32.50. 4 hours is $40, and 5 hours is $47.50. So I need to figure out, how do I take my hours of 1 and get to $17.50? That if I plug in 2, I get to $25. If I plug in 3, I get to $32.50. So let's see if we can find some sort of pattern. Well, as I look down my cost, every time I change hours from 1 hour to 2 hours, I'm adding how much money? Well, if I take $17.50 to 25, I'm going to add $7.50 for that 1 extra hour. Well, if I take a look from 25 to 32.50, that's also adding another $7.50. 32.50 to 40, $7.50. 40 to 47.50, $7.50. So every time I add an hour, each hour, I'm going to pay $7.50. That's $7.50 per hour. The word per, what do you think's going on? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. That would be a multiplication. So I'm going to take $7.50 and multiply it by the number of hours. Now let's go back and see what else are we missing. It tells us that we are renting a scooter for how long it is rented, how many hours. But there's something else going on, because if I go from a 1 to a $17.50 and all I had was $7.50 times 1, what else do I need in there? I also need to add how much money? $10. So let's see. If I take $7.50 and I multiply by 1 and I add 10, I end up with $17.50. If I take $7.50 and I multiply by 2 and I add 10, $7.50 times 2 would give us 15. 15 plus 10 is 25. If I take $7.50 and I multiply by 3 and I add 10, $7.50 and $7.50 is 15, plus $7.50 would take us to $22.50, plus that $10 is $32.50. That means that we are going to take $7.50, multiply by the number of hours, and add 10, and that would give us a rule, R-U-L-E. The rule is a $7.50H plus 10. What would be the words? Well, the words would be that we're going to multiply the hours by $7.50, and then we're going to add 10.